In this week's action-packed chapter of Bleach, Kenpachi Zaraki finally unleashes his inner madness, his inner anger, and all of his rage as he finally activates his Bankai for the very first time in the series. And you know what? Gerard Valkyrie gets his ass spanked. Kenpachi went all in this chapter. He went Super Saiyan, he opened the gates, he officially has transformed into the freaking devil. That's right, Kenpachi Zaraki has officially fused with Yachiru, activating his Bankai, which not only gives him a brand new sword which takes the form of a cleaver, looking like a smaller form of his Shikai Zanpakuto, but his skin turns red, he has black markings on his face, and he even has devil horns. Yeah! The beginning of this week's chapter is just as exciting as all of the cool action scenes from this chapter. That initial transformation from Kenpachi was so damn satisfying, especially the giant explosion of energy, which sent everyone flying back and completely freaking out when they saw this monstrous red version of Kenpachi, who immediately went on the attack against Gerard Valkyrie. And Gerard Valkyrie is so stupid for not using his sword. The fact that he tried to defeat Kenpachi in his Bankai state by literally punching him didn't work. How did Kenpachi defend against that giant punch? He simply screamed at him, which caused Gerard Valkyrie's arm to completely rip off and fall down into the city. This is followed by a massive assault from Kenpachi, where he jumps up in Gerard Valkyrie's face, cutting his forehead, cutting his entire shield in half, as well as cutting off his own left hand. Basically, he completely put Gerard Valkyrie against the wall and ends up decking him outside of the city, where luckily he does activate his abilities to grow wings, he starts to grow his arms back, and that's when he begins his final assault against Kenpachi, which results in him being cut in half cleanly in one big attack. This week's chapter was really simple, but damn was it satisfying. I don't even smoke and I feel like I need a cigarette. So what's the rundown on this week's chapter of Bleach? Kenpachi's brand new form looks so damn awesome. It's incredibly reminiscent of some things that I've seen from some other anime and manga series. I'm very much reminded of Naruto when I see his transformation, because not only does he have the red skin, but he's also got these horns which are growing out of his forehead, which are very reminiscent of the Sage of the Six Paths from that series, and the fact that his skin turns completely red kind of reminds me of Guy Sensei when he powers up and opens up all of the gates. And this is definitely the most destructive version of Kenpachi that we've ever seen. And the fact that he can basically just roar at you and your limbs will rip off is pretty damned impressive. But I think my favorite scene this week was when he jumped in Gerard Valkyrie's face, cutting his forehead, destroying his shield and his hand, all in one big swift attack. He's honestly pretty horrifying, but he also seems to be enjoying himself all at the same time. I'm still not quite sure how Yachiru actually ties into his Bankai, if she literally is just the physical manifestation of it. Like, they still haven't really gotten to that quite yet. This chapter was just an excuse to see Kenpachi go 100% power and to see what he's truly capable of, and even still, I don't think he's trying that hard. All he's basically doing is just powering up and using his brand new sword to pretty much just annihilate and cut anything. And he really proved yet again that in terms of like physical raw power, probably the most powerful character in the series. That's not to say there aren't characters who could probably take them on as long as they had a good strategy, but right now, Gerard Valkyrie is beyond screwed. Although, who knows, we've had a lot of other Quincy characters who have suffered some really big damage and still managed to come back or transform or reform their body in some interesting way, although I have a feeling that Gerard Valkyrie is not going to be returning. He is something of just a big one-note Quincy-type character. Like, his whole shtick is that basically he's just big and strong, simple as that. And Kenpachi really is the perfect opponent for him, but Kenpachi was just so much more impressive in this chapter, and his brand new transformation, the artwork that was all around it, looked fantastic. I especially love that first initial close-up of his face. He looks absolutely horrifying. He doesn't look like the hero at all. He really looks like the villain, and that's something that's always been kind of cool about a lot of the characters in the Bleach series. Not just Kenpachi, but even characters like Mayuri Kuratsuchi. They always sort of walk the line between looking like just like a traditional good guy and a traditional bad guy, and it's just really reassuring for the Shinigami, I'm sure, that Kenpachi is on their side, because he's so destructively powerful, and he totally was in this week's incredibly action-packed chapter. A chapter which, while I was reading it, just flew right by. Like, it was, for the most part, just pure action from beginning to end. Most of the dialogue actually came from Gerard Valkyrie, with him basically just being like, "This is inconceivable! This could never happen! There's no one who could be this powerful! No one can take on the miracle!" Basically, he's just in complete denial as he's getting his ass handed to him by Kenpachi, who continues to be my favorite character from the series, and this chapter completely exemplifies that. This was a fantastic read of Bleach with some great character artwork, some really cool and raw, bloody action scenes. This is exactly the type of stuff that I wanted to see from the final arc of Bleach, and it's certainly delivering in this week's chapter. So, I'm going to give this one right here a 5 out of 5. I absolutely loved it. I love the brand new look of Kenpachi when he goes to that transformation state. I just want to learn a little bit more about like how all of this is possible, maybe a little bit more about the history of him and Yachiru, and how this whole Bankai thing with him goes down, because it's unlike any other character that we've seen from the series. So Bleach fans, make sure to check out this chapter. Stand in awe of the raw manliness that is Kenpachi Zaraki. So, I love this chapter, but I want to hear from you guys. What did you think about Kenpachi's Bankai? Do you like the transformative state that he went into? Do you think it's cool that he turns all red and ends up looking like the devil? What do you think of his sword? It's a little different from his Shikai. It's basically a smaller version of that. It's not the cleanest looking blade in the world, but if the past has proven anything, Kenpachi can pick up just about any weapon and turn it into something extremely deadly. Do you think there's actually more to his Bankai aside from it just being a raw, pure power-up? And what do you want to see from the rest of this arc, the final arc of Bleach? Please tell me in the comment section below. You guys are awesome. Thank you for watching this review. I really appreciate it. Make sure to share this video with all of your friends, and make sure to subscribe to the channel. That way you'll be able to see all of our latest anime and manga reviews. And I even just did a reaction to Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, the first live-action Star Wars spin-off film. So make sure to check that out. It just got released recently. And stay tuned. We have a lot of other big projects that are coming in the pipeline. So thank you guys again for watching, and as always, stay dandy, baby!